Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya coming back at you one more time from the Great Millstone Helena, Montana camp. And we're just going to jump right into this lesson. We ain't going to waste no more time. And we always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay? So the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the Spirit jumped on me to do this lesson because we all of us, Akim, know it. We living in Babylon, America. We living in this queendom where Esau just does all manner of wickedness. From his laws, from his just all around economy. His the way he treats people, and what I'm saying, just Esau is just the wicked, what I'm saying? And everything in his kingdom is wicked. Everything, And, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah is about to put a stop to this damn heathen, this heathen ass nation, Esau, Edom. The Lord is about to put a stop to these Edomites, But, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, the Spirit jumped on me to do this lesson because, I was just going through my account, my phone account, right? And I'm actually with Verizon, right? And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, Verizon, they always screwing people," and but it ain't just Verizon. It's all these damn phone companies. Esau is running. From T-Mobile, Verizon, whatever, all of them damn companies, all the phone companies. But I was going through my account, and what I noticed is that I've been with this phone company for years, a long time, and I always notice is that it's times where I pay my bill, and there's sometimes when I'm late, because of course things are bad in this economy, and with my phone company, they allow you to make a promise to pay, and then you gotta make that promise to pay, and if they don't, then they basically just start harassing you and say basically Esau's like, look, where my money at, and it's stupid, man, and it's actually been times when I all of us have experienced this where when we first get our phone, we have a phone account and all that stuff, and we ain't able to pay, and then what happens is they give us this certain amount of time to pay, and if we can't, then they'll be like, look, it's been this month, it's been 2 months, and all, and basically it gets to the point where they say, look, you know what, we're just gonna terminate your phone, and we're gonna send you over to collections, right? But what if it's time? It's been times where a person really can't pay. And it ain't just with phone bills, it's with rent and everything, what I'm saying? They can't pay. What do? What I'm saying? Especially in this economy that we living in now, like what can you do? But Esau don't care. He'll turn your phone off. He'll terminate it. He'll send you over to collections. He'll turn your gas off. He'll evict you. He don't care. And of course we know Esau doesn't go by the laws, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, according to the Bible. That's why we ought to get out of this place, man, because it's just it's vexing, it's wicked, you know. Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom, they're definitely unmerciful when it comes to these type of situations. You know what I'm saying? Esau don't care. He'll turn off your phone. He'll turn off your gas. He'll turn off your water. He'll turn off your electric, and he don't give a shit. He'll put your ass on the street. But let's see what the scriptures say. Let's see what Yahweh Shem Yahushua said according to the law. Because, you know, the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the right way to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's a law concerning this in the scriptures. You know, we're going to read it. This is in the book of the law, the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah. And this is in Deuteronomy, right? We're going to read Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, right? And we're going to start at verse 1. Now, Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, and all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, right? In a New Living Translation, the title reads, Release of Debtors, right? So it's a law concerning this. It's like if you can't pay a certain amount of time, we're going to read it. Look what the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua says. Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter, New Living Translation, the title reads, Release of Debtors. In the ERV title, it says, The Special Year of Canceling Debts. And we know Esau don't cancel no debts. He wants his money. He'll give you a certain amount of time to pay it, but then after that, he'll cut it off, he'll terminate your phone, and that's it. That's wickedness, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 15. And I'm gonna read verse 1. Down. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 to let's read down to verse 2. 1 or 2. It says, at the end of every 7 years, now this is the law of the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, at the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. Verse 2, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. Esau don't do that here. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll harass you. He'll say, look, he'll send you an email. He'll send you a text message like, look, you got to pay this, got to pay it. Over, you know, it's just vexing and it's just nerve wracking. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 2, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it, and he shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Now this is concerning Israel, right? But verse 3, this is what the Lord said about what we can do with the other nations. It says, of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, your fellow Israelite, thine hand shall release, right? So you ain't supposed to, you know, when you have a fellow Israelite brother, right? And you say, let's say, for example, you give him, you know, your fellow Israelite brother asks, he said, hey, can you lend me like $100? You know? And you give him the $100, and then a couple of weeks go down the road. He say, hey, you know, you got that $100? He said, no, I ain't got it yet, man. I'll give it to you, I promise. He said, all right, whatever. And then a month go by. He said, hey, you got that $100? I said, no, man, the things is tight right now. I got to do. It's like, you know, and then what wicked ass Jake would do, because it is wicked ass people, wicked ass Israelites amongst our people, they'll charge interest. And that's wickedness, man. That's what Esau does. He'll charge interest. He'll charge taxes, interest, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep reading. But now we're going to read this in Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 1 or 2 in the Christian Standard Bible translation. And in the Christian Standard Bible translation to Deuteronomy 15, the title reads, Debts Canceled, right? Debts canceled. This is Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. Christian Standard Bible translation. It reads, At the end of 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how to cancel debt. So the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in the law. He's telling us in the law, the divine law of the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is righteous. What the Lord is about to say. It says, at the end of 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how to cancel debt. Every creditor is to cancel what he has lent his neighbor. He is not to collect anything from his neighbor or brother, because the Lord's release of debts has been proclaimed. So we ain't supposed to go out there and say, look, hey man, you know, you owe me $100, but I'm gonna start charging you tax now. I'm gonna start taxing you. I mean, like I'm gonna start taxing. I'm gonna start putting interest on it. So you know, like say for example, for like every 2 weeks, I'm gonna charge you a certain amount of interest. That's wickedness, man. That's wickedness, and that's what Esau does. Especially when we're late on our phone bill, Esau will charge interest. He'll make you pay a fee because you're late. This is so what I did was I Googled, what is a debt collector? It says debt collectors are individuals or agencies that pursue payment. They'll pursue it. They ain't gonna stop. They'll call you. They'll text you. They'll even say, "Look, we're gonna if you don't pay this amount of money, we're gonna interrupt your service." Wickedness, man. It says, "What is a debt collector? Debt collectors are individuals or agencies that pursue payment or overdue accounts on overdue accounts. When you miss payments, the original creditor may hire a third-party collection agency or sell the debt to a debt buyer. They primarily attempt to recover funds for credit cards, medical bills, and loans." So then what I did was, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the Spirit jumped on me to Google, what happens when you don't pay your debt to Verizon? Because that's who I'm with. I say, okay, let's see if I Google this. What happens if you don't pay your debt to Verizon? It says this: if you do not pay your Verizon bill, your service will eventually be suspended. The debt may be sent to an outside collection agency, and your credit score will drop significantly. You will also be barred from opening new Verizon accounts until the balance is paid in full. The consequences, these are shit consequences. When the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua clearly said right here, I'm going to read it again, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 to 2, CSB translation. It says, at the end of 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how to cancel debt. Every creditor is to cancel what he has lent his neighbor. He is not to collect anything from his neighbor or brother, because the Lord's release of debts has been proclaimed. Meanwhile, look at what Esau does. It says, when you miss payments, the original creditor may hire a third-party collection agency or sell the debt to a debt buyer. They primarily attempt to recover funds for credit cards, medical bills, and loans. Like I said, then I Google what happens when you don't pay your debt, like to Verizon. It says if you do not pay your Verizon bill, your service will eventually be suspended. The debt may be sent to an outside collection agency, and your credit score will drop significantly. You will also be barred from opening new Verizon accounts until the balance is paid in full. The consequences escalate over time in the following steps. It says late fees, service interruption, account termination, and collections. Pure evil, Esau, Edom, the wicked. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 8. Deuteronomy 15 and verse 8. It reads, okay? Matter of fact, I'm gonna read verse 7. Deuteronomy 15, verse 7 to 8. It says, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, which is your fellow Israelite, your own kinsman, it says, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart. See, because when Esau he collects his money and shit, and try to collect his money when you back on a bill, and he don't give a damn. He'll harden his heart. He's like, look, you better give us our money, or we turning your shit off, or we gonna evict you. We gonna kick your ass out in the street. It says, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from the poor brother, from thy poor brother. Verse 8, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need and that which he wanteth. This is in the law. Okay? Now, Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 8, it tells us to go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 42. So let's read Matthew chapter 5 and verse 42. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 42. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the red in the New Testament. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 42. It reads, it says, it says this, Matthew chapter 5 verse 42, it says, give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. Right? I'm going to read it again. Matthew chapter 5 verse 42, give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. Because remember, Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 8, when it reads, but thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need and that which he wanted. Now, it's been many times where I have lent money out, and I never, I mean, especially before I came into the truth too, I was like this too, and I never was like, look, hey, you got that $50? You got that 50? But it has been done to me numerous times. If I borrow money, especially from Jake, especially when before I came into the truth, I asked Jake for $50, and I was like, damn, I got to pay my bill, or I got to do this. Damn, I won't be able to pay my homeboy back. He would hit me up. Hey, you got that $50? I'm like, man, I can't. You got the $50. You got the $50. You know what I'm saying? Me, on the other hand, if I lend somebody some money, I wouldn't even trip. I wouldn't trip. It's like, because especially now I'm in the truth. I'm like, if I lend somebody some money, I just let the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai handle it, because at the same time, the Lord takes care of his servants. We ain't gonna trip like, hey, where my money at? Where my money? It's like, that's too much right there. That's too much plan. Just let the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai handle it. Because when I do give in righteousness, and I give in a goodly fashion, it actually just makes me feel good in the spirit. And I just have faith in the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai that, and this is what happens, Akim, when I do that, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai actually blesses me. I just forget that, that person owed me money. And then all of a sudden that person, they'll eventually give me the money, but I just see the blessings that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has given me when I have done a good thing like that. I don't do it out of, oh man, I got to get this. If I have it, I'll give it to you. You know what I'm saying? If I have $100 and Jake asks me for $20, $30, $40, I was like, look, you know what? If I got it, I give it to you. I ain't gonna say, well, I got $200 in my pocket. So, well, I ain't got it, man. And we've all heard that. You got $250 in your pocket, but you talking about you ain't got it. But like I said, Esau is the wicked. And that's why we got to get out this kingdom, because his laws, his Esau's worldly wicked ass laws. He charges interest. He'll tax you. Even when we pay taxes, that's wicked. Paying taxes is wicked. You know what I'm saying? That's wickedness. So we spend a whole year working our ass off. Then at the end of the year, we spend a whole year working, and we see our check, and we see how much money Esau takes out of our check. And then at the end of the year, we get it back. That's pure wickedness, man. And then at the same time, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai said it in the scriptures, in the law. Roughly paraphrasing, when you work that day, you're supposed to get paid that day. Esau don't do that. He'll wait 2 weeks. He don't care if you ain't got no money. He's like, damn, I got to wait 2 weeks. I only got like $15, $20 to last me until the next check after I pay all my bills. I only got like $20. You got to make that stretch. You're supposed to pay that man you're supposed to pay that man his money that day when he works, not 2 weeks later. Wickedness. So I just wanted to do this quick lesson, Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men, a great millstone, who teaches this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. Let's stay strong, Akim. We almost out this queendom, okay? Our kingdom is next. Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Let's stay strong, Akim. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.